Okay, good morning, everyone. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Calling the roll for the Monday, May 15, 2023 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:03 a.m. We have Councilmember Meredith Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Dale Miller.
Here.
James Boyle serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.
Present.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever.
Here.
Catherine Gallagher serving as an alternate for Chris Ronay, County Executive.
Here.
Mike Chambers, Fiscal Officer, serving as Chairman.
Here.
Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes from May 8th. I will make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Let's go to our first item.
First item, BC 2023-302, Department of Public Works submitting an amendment to a contract with Independence Excavating Incorporated for replacement of Memphis Road Bridge number 00.62 over CSXT Railroad in the city of Brooklyn for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $50,522.53.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this amendment was mainly for winter protection, which helped with getting the concrete set and ready so that we could open the roadway before winter started late last year. And so this gave us ability to open the bridge to traffic, which was kind of a issue for the city, and so making sure that we could get traffic going through there. This is not the final. The final likely will come later this summer, but it is essentially complete. They're just doing landscaping and other work until July.
Thank you, Ms. English. Are there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain, Gallagher.
We have one abstention. Okay, the item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-303, Department of Public Works submitting an amendment to a contract with CHM Warnick LLC for asset management services for the Hilton Cleveland Downtown Hotel for the period June 28, 2016 through June 30th, 2023, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2024, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $264,000.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this is amending 1 year our contract with the asset manager for the hotel. They have been on board since we opened the hotel. They had replied to an RFQ and were selected that way. We've decided one more year amendment, really to kind of get the new administration through and updated on sort of the hotel and what's happening there, and also gearing up for possibly a capital improvement that needs to happen at the Hilton. So we want their help. We will re-advertise this next year to set a new contract in place.
Thank you, Ms. English. Are there questions from the board?
Yes, could you elaborate about the capital improvement and what it is and what it would cost?
So that's what they're working through as far as what it would cost. The refresh on a hotel is normally every 7 years. This hotel has been open since 16, I believe, right? So we're working on, stretching it a little bit further because COVID, they didn't get as much wear and tear on all the rooms. So pushing it, so there'd probably be a staged kind of capital improvement. The main, the public areas will probably be the first thing, then some pieces in the room are refresh. Obviously, technology gets outdated. What they're seeing is a lot of the tabletops and things like that are nicked up and beat up that they need to refresh. So the hotel will be hiring an owner's rep to kind of work through the process, which would then set a budget going forward for these capital improvements.
And how much of this would the county be responsible for paying for?
The county would be responsible for all of it. However, we do have funds that have gone in years past that have funneled down to the what we call capital plan. What's the capital operating
It is
fund?
the operating
Come on, help
account,
me.
yeah. Capital repair account.
So the way the money has fallen, when Hilton makes a payment to the bond, and then if there's extra money, it goes down into these different buckets. And so some are operating reserve, some is capital reserve. And so we do have some funds in that. Obviously, during COVID, the monies weren't flowing through and the county had to supplement what the Hilton was making in revenue. So there is some money in there, but definitely not enough to cover what we would probably need. So that's what we were gonna work through in the next year as far as what it would be, what it would cost. And obviously, we'd be presenting that to council because that would be monies that the county would have to outlay.
And can you give me some kind of a ballpark on what we're talking about? Are we talking 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, what,
Their number would have been
About 15.
15 million.
15 million, a lot of money. Okay, thanks.
Are there any additional
Fairly
questions?
warned.
And we have been working, we work closely with fiscal and OBM. Actually, Mike and Walter P. are on, and I sort of sit together on these calls with the asset manager. So they've been informed, and actually Bob France too was the financial advisor. So we have been planning with them along the way, not in a silo.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Mr. Boyle, please.
What was the terms time-wise of the previous contracts? Were they annual or?
The first was 3 years, and then I believe we said another 3 years.
Okay. And then I would assume, is 3 years kind of the industry standard?
Correct.
So when you guys go out to bid in 2024, presumably it'll be for a 3-year bid.
Yep.
And when do you guys, we're creeping up on the time frame already. What's your anticipated time frame when you kind of put that bid out on the street?
I would hope by the first of the year it would be out. It is an RFQ, so, it's out 30 days, and then we have to select. And last time we interviewed firms, we were new to this the last time, so hopefully we know a little bit better. It should be quicker on our end.
Any final questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item's approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2023-304, Department of Development submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to BMI Associates Incorporated, DBA BMI Productivity Solutions, in the amount not to exceed $11,477 for maintenance, support, and training on portfolio management software for the period May 6, 2023 through May 5, 2025, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Yes, Brian Edwards with Department of Development here to address any questions.
Okay. Is there any high-level overview real quick, Brian, on what they do?
Sure. So Portfolio is the official loan servicing software of record that we utilize to manage all the loans in our database. This has been with the county for a while, and when I joined in 2017, late 17, we reconciled and validated the entire 30 years worth of loan portfolio. So this is our sole system of record. Portfolio will maintain the maintenance on the project, provide support. We're also getting 50 additional licenses for more loans because we're adding more into the database as far as grants, and my team and I are taking on more responsibility there. So it's all in one system of record at this point.
Very good.
So we're just extending this another 2 years while we work with IT to potentially identify another option that may be out there that serves the whole department-wide a little bit better too. So we're working with IT on that right now.
Okay, great, thank you. Are there questions from the board?
I just have a small question. So
Sure.
Salesforce, what does that do differently?
So that's an excellent question. I'm not a subject matter expert in that. Salesforce is more of a CRM management, customer relationship management system with, I believe, the capacity to do a la carte. I'm not a technology person, but to add a la carte things based on the needs of the department. Portfolio is a customer relationship management software, but it doesn't have the accessibility that I think Salesforce would have from a out-of-the-office perspective. So if the director or deputy director were out and about and someone said, how many deals have you done in the city of Bedford? And they go on their little tablet or whatever the future will provide and give them real-time access to that information. So that's kind of more of a more real-time information as opposed to asking me or my team for reports out of that, which we do schedule on a monthly basis anyway. So.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additional questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2023-305, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to M&J Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $34,923 for a state contract purchase of 21 Meraki wireless access points and 21 Meraki MR Enterprise Cloud Controller licenses for a period of 10 years, effective Board of Control approval, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Board. Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. This request on behalf of Juvenile Court is for the purchase of the hardware and for the licensing, and it's via M&J through state term.
Thank you, Dennis. Questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is
Thank you.
approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-306, Department of Internal Audit, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Walters Kluwer Financial Services in the amount not to exceed $15,799.20 for the purchase of 6 Teammate Audit Management Software user licenses for the period May 7, 2023 through May 6, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Joshua Alt with Internal Audit. This is to renew our current audit management software that we use pretty much in everything we do, everything from risk assessment to annual planning to engagement level work paper management, key performance indicators, remediation tracking. So it's pretty much how we manage our operations. This is just going to renew that for the ongoing year.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-307, Office of Human Resources, submitting an amendment to a contract with the Archer Company LLC for classification and compensation analysis for the period February 3rd, 2020 through December 31st, 2023, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2024, to change the terms of insurance, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $21,000, effective upon signatures of all parties.
Stephen Witt with Human Resources. This is an amendment with our contract with Archer. What they primarily do is they primarily assist when we have a position audit request from a county employee, or when we have a special project such as a salary survey conducted last year. What this amendment will do is, one, it's setting the insurance to the new standards with our risk management team that they've set for this, for all future contracts. It's also extending the contract through the end of next year, which will put us on the same timeline as the PRC, so that when our contract and their contracts are expiring, we can go out in together with an RFP.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions from the board? Please.
So I know the timing with the PRC is something that is important to them as well. Was that, I assume that was part of the conversation for this one-year extension?
Yes, we were initially working on an RFP this year,
Okay,
and then Sheba had some discussion, when Sheba was interim, she had some discussions with the PRC and determined that we could put them on the same schedule and go out together.
yeah, because obviously they've been using them for their own separate aspects. What are the insurance capacity? Are the cyber insurance, that kind of, what is the new stuff that they need? Do you
I
know?
believe what they did is they've just increased the normal limits, like the commercial liability and the PL
Okay,
limits, which Archer was already exceeding with their
Okay.
insurance requirement.
a lot
Insurance
going.
limits.
I look at it, you got adding time, adding money, and dealing with the insurance. There's a lot going on in one. I'm like, fair enough.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle. Are there any additional questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-308, Court of Common Pleas Corrections Planning Board submitting an RFP exemption which will result in award recommendation to Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County in the amount not to exceed $469,116.80 for implementing the Essential Behavioral Health Interventions and Criminogenic Needs Program for severely mentally ill offenders on behalf of the Cuyahoga County Adult Probation Department for the period April 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Linda Lagoonzad with the Corrections Planning Board. This is a contract between the Common Pleas Court and the Adams Board. And the Adams Board will oversee the work of Recovery Resources and its efforts to assist the court's Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities docket, the MHDD docket, in implementing the Essential Behavioral Health Interventions and Criminogenic Needs Program. So the amount of this contract, most of it is with the court, a little bit of it is provided by the Adams Board. The contract is a new initiative for the court, and Recovery Resources will deliver services for 55 individuals through the life of this grant who have chronic and serious mental illnesses and who have been assessed as low or low-moderate risk to reoffend in the criminal justice system. Recovery Resources will provide services addressing the needs of the whole person through the use of the forensic assertive community treatment approach, also known as FACT. So although I have said 55 offenders, it could actually be more. If the offender has successfully graduated from this initiative, the program may serve more offenders.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Are there questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-309, County Prosecutor submitting an amendment to a contract with Dell Marketing LP for a state contract purchase of a Microsoft Enterprise Agreement for various licensing and support services for the period January 22nd, 2022 through January 21st, 2025 to add 4 additional licenses effective upon signatures of all parties and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $57,415.84.
Good morning, my name is Jim Ginley. I'm representing the County Prosecutor's Office, and what Cheryl said is pretty concise. It's for 4 licenses for multiple users in our case management system for the next 2 years.
Thank you, Jim. Are there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-310, Medical Examiner's Office submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Federal Express Corporation and the amount not to exceed $15,000 for shipping services for DNA-related results and materials for parentage and DNA departments and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. This is not to exceed for FedEx, and it's the shipping service we use most often in DNA. They've found to be most reliable as far as delivery and keeping our chain of custody.
Thank you, Hugh. Are there questions from the board?
And I guess it's better than the U.S. Postal Service, but it seems, I mean, the question, and I appreciate your response in the questions and the advanced questions, but, I mean, so they just put the DN, I mean, is there box, how do they do this?
Yeah, it's not, you know, just stick it in the envelope. Yeah, there's packaging that goes along with it.
I assumed as much,
yeah.
but, and it seems that 15,000 actually seems like a low amount. How many of these we do?
I have to get the exact.
Just send me an
count.
email, would you?
15,000 I think is a little higher than
It gives you some cushion.
normal. It gives us a little bit of cushion, yeah, just in case, because we can't predict one year to the next.
Thanks.
Are there additional questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next, item BC 2023-311, Medical Examiner's Office submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Fisher Scientific Company in the amount not to exceed $32,435.99 for a state contract purchase of various laboratory equipment and supplies for autopsy, drug chemistry, and toxicology departments, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon Medical Examiner's Office, this is some basic laboratory equipment that was on state contract.
Thank you, Hugh. Are there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve the item. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Thanks, you.
Next, item BC 2023-312, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services recommending an award and enter into a contract with Camp Homeda Coda Foundation in the amount not to exceed $18,600 for the Camp Hope Summer Program, effective upon signatures of all parties through July 28, 2023.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jill Smilek on behalf of Public Safety and Justice Services. This is a contract with Camp Homeda Coda for our annual program, Camp Hope. Since 2019, our Division of Witness Victim Services has hosted Camp Hope, which is a 5-night, 6-day residential camp for kids who have been exposed to violence and have completed a traditional therapeutic intervention. This program is a national model with affiliate sites all over the country. However, we're the only camp within the 5-state region and only one of only 3 in the Midwest. Homeda Coda was selected after an informal request for proposals. The camp is in Newberry Township and will provide all lodging, activities, and camp counselors.
Okay. Thank you, Jill. Are there questions from the board?
Yes, thank you for a very good presentation. And how do you spell your last name?
My last name is Smialek.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Boyle?
That was an easy one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, what's your favorite color? I mean, we're throwing softballs at you. You don't have to answer that. What, how are they gonna choose the participants?
So this year, we're expanding to 40 campers. All of the campers who are going to come have been through either our Children Who Witness Violence program or our Defending Childhood program. So we work very closely with Frontline Services, which is our partner agency for both of those programs, and they screen children who have completed treatment. Our youngest is about 8 years old, and our oldest, we have some 17-year-olds who have been coming since they were about 12 years old. So as they come, they can continue to grow through the program.
So I'll ask one more question. It sounds like the location is very close to Punderson State Park.
It is.
Is the park used at all in the program?
It is not. Camp Homeda Coda is a very large facility. It has a lake, it has a pool, it has cabins. We don't need to venture outside of the camp grounds at all.
Okay, thank you.
Self-contained.
Any final questions? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next
Thank you.
item, BC 2023-313, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services recommend an award and enter into contract with Digital Stakeout Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $13,260 for a web-based social media aggregation and threat detection tool and 8 user licenses for use by the Northeast Ohio Regional Fusion Center for the period May 15, 2023 through May 14, 2024.
Good morning, Leslie White, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services. So Digital Stakeout is a web-based social media aggregation and threat detection tool. It's used by the analysts at the Fusion Center to look for keywords and threat language appearing in public social media posts. And this is a grant purchase, and it's been provided by, or it's been approved by the project owner as well as the funder. It was an informal bid, and we're awarding to the lowest bidder.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. Questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, but I'll ask a question.
Oh, please, Councilman, go ahead.
Are we currently using this vendor or a different vendor, or is this a new contract?
It's a new contract, but I think I know we've used this provider in the past. I don't think we were currently using them. Is that accurate, Mike? Correct. Okay. So it is a provider that we've had a contract with in the past, but we go out to bid for this service. And so it's a new contract this time around.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Are there any additional questions? Okay, we had a motion by me and a second by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Thank you. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-314, correcting to read, adding the words to independent living. Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in award recommendation to MNJ Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $82,980 for a state contract purchase of 60 Microsoft Surface laptops and 60 Case Logic carrying cases for 2023 graduating seniors transitioning to independent living and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Ramon Caldas, Health and Human Services, on behalf of the Division of Children and Family Services. This purchase is aimed at supporting high school graduates as they make the transition to independent living. This is part of their graduation stipend. Procurement was done through state contract, and funding is 70% HHS levy and 30% Title IV-E. However, we will be fully reimbursed with TANF-IL dollars.
So I have a question for you. The independent living, we added that. What's the significance of that, or is there none?
It's under the umbrella of TANF.
I see.
It's just specifically designed to help children that are aging out of care.
I got you. Okay, so my own knowledge. Are there additional questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve the item as amended. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Thank you. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-315, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, recommended an award and enter into a contract with AHIP Ohio, Cleveland Enterprises LLC, DBA Embassy Suites Cleveland Rockside, in the amount not to exceed $25,000 for room rental, catering, and audiovisual services for the 2023 Caregiver Training Conference to be held on May 19, 2023.
Good morning, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services on behalf of Children and Family Services. Children and Family Services and North Central Ohio Regional Training Center collaborate each year to offer a caregiver conference which responds directly to the state mandate to provide specialized education for caregivers for our region's most vulnerable children. The annual conference offers caregivers, child welfare professionals, and community partners numerous learning opportunities designed to strengthen parenting skills, increase trauma awareness, and improve effectiveness in meeting the physical, social, and emotional needs of children in substitute care. We have offered this conference since 2014, except of course during COVID. We procured this vendor through an informal bid.
Thank you, Marcos. Is there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Moving on.
Moving on to consent agenda items, BC 2023-316 through BC 2023-318.
Okay, board members, there's only a couple of items. Do we have any questions on any of the items?
I will move for approval.
Move for approval and seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Today's consent items are approved. Wow. Is there other business?
No other business?
Is there any other public comment?
No public comment?
I will make the motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor to adjourn say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.